All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. It is Friday. It is 5 o'clock here in New York. It is time, therefore, for some Rambling with Ryan. Unfortunately, these days, whatever Facebook changed with Facebook Live, I'm probably talking to myself, but maybe somebody will catch it on the replay some other time. Um, so, let me start this by saying what really kind of triggered this thought. Right, they're pulling the wool over our eyes. I mean, there's a multitude of things that make me say they're pulling the wool over our eyes. But let me start with the single thing that triggered it for me. Just yesterday, I had to go to the doctor, and I'll just cut to the chase. I, for the first time in my life, have a heart murmur. A heart murmur. Could be serious, might not be. Might be nothing at all. The doctor will neither confirm nor deny that the heart murmur is caused by my booster shot. He will not answer the question. Hey, Kev, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. So this is what triggered it, like a distrust, just a distrust in general. And for me, it's very serious because it involves my health. Now, let me get to the backtrack where it all comes from. When I was a kid, a teenager, I worked at McDonald's. And as a kid, it was a great job. It was fun. You got paid. Tons of other kids were there. We worked with high school. I really enjoyed it. So I have a soft spot in my heart for McDonald's because I worked there as a kid and really enjoyed that job. Hey, Donna. I'm feeling great, Donna. I'm feeling great. But there's a heart murmur, which could be a problem. All right. So McDonald's as a kid. So I have an affinity for McDonald's. I enjoy them. But I watched a documentary recently, and the documentary was nothing more than how the burger wars started, right? So how McDonald's, started, how they became so big, how did they, defeat basically Burger King. Hey, Linda, thanks for being here, Linda. I'm so glad you guys are all here because Facebook has not been functioning the same way. Okay, so the McDonald's Burger King battle is going on. Who's going to reign supreme? And here's what I found so fascinating. Now, this was an innocent documentary just talking about food and the success of McDonald's and the lesser but success of Burger King. Basically, it was all about manipulating society, manipulating Americans, and eventually the world into believing that they are hungry when they are not. That was their entire premise for marketing to us, is to convince us that we are hungry. Hey, Diana, good to see you. Hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling good, Diana. I'm really glad to see you here. But that was the premise of both Burger King. Matt, what's up, buddy? So many people. The very day that I think nobody's coming on, everybody's coming on. Ray Kroc, right, Rico? Ray Kroc. Now, Ray Kroc was actually genius at this. He was genius to make America believe they were hungry when they were not, and that the food they needed to come fast and cheap, and it needed to come from McDonald's. Now, the story went on, and Burger King invented the Whopper, and they had a signature sandwich. And McDonald's, actually years later, came out with the Big Mac, and then they decided they had to create breakfast because we need breakfast fast now too. Even though decades earlier than that, there was no such thing as breakfast. They invented breakfast. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. Tony Baloney's here too. Fantastic. Yes, MSG tonight. I know. Now, so what am I getting with this? So I spent many years eating McDonald's regularly because I believed the hype that I needed that food, and I needed it fast, and I needed it cheap. That's just the way it was. Diana, today might not be the day for words of wisdom. We'll go on a separate call, and you and we will chat. But today I'm talking about the wool getting pulled over my eyes, and I don't feel that this is positive per se. So just stick with me there that McDonald's, Burger King, and the entire fast food industry is spending their time and money manipulating Americans to eat. Now, of course, the biggest manipulation of all is The Happy Meal. The Happy Meal, because the Happy Meal gets the kids to say, I need to go to McDonald's. And it works. It works. McDonald's is the largest distributor of toys in the world. I did work there as a kid, as a teenager. I did work there. Yes. So if you follow me, like you put a toy into it and a little pretty box with games on it, and the kids are going to tell their parents they have to go, even if they're not hungry. That's where the manipulation comes. But it gets much worse than that. And the next topic I'm going to hit you with is pharmaceuticals. Now, I do not remember the year, but I'm going to say it was in the 80s that the U.S. government made it okay for pharmaceutical companies to advertise on television. To me, what it caused is sicker people. Now, I have no statistics to prove that. That's just me talking. But the minute that they put pharmaceuticals on TV, every possible ailment was now published and everybody felt that they had it. And today, what really, really bothers me is that the pharmaceutical companies make it seem happy and joyful to take medicine. They put happy music. In fact, what really gets me is that they're putting popular music that we have enjoyed. And they're selling drugs to us to cure things that in all likelihood we don't even have. And you know my line of work these days. They are trying to convince you that you need pharmaceuticals instead of taking care of yourself. Instead of eating right and exercising and doing the things that are necessary to keep your body healthy, they would prefer that you take pharmaceuticals. And they're going to spend lots of money to make you think that the pharmaceutical is the answer. They will spend an extraordinary amount of time to manipulate every single one of us into believing that drug is not only good for us, but it makes us happy. It makes us happy. That is the wool getting pulled over our eyes. That's just one more example. Now, don't get me started on the food industry, because the food industry is equally bad, and our U.S. government is in on it, right? The associations, the medical associations, Heart Association, Cancer Association, Diabetes, all these associations are not even mildly interested in getting rid of these diseases. They need us to have those diseases for them to exist. Now, they may spend money on research. They may spend money on trying to come up with, I think, therapies, more drugs perhaps, but it's not in their interest. Oh yeah, absolutely, Matt. Absolutely. They're not interested at all in curing what they represent. And you can watch some documentaries on that too. I've watched them. It's unbelievable. U.S. government, in on it. All right. Food, medicine, pharmaceuticals. Now, here's the worst one. Now, this is the one that's going to get me in trouble, though. This is the one that's going to get everybody to be mad at me. Politics. Oh, my God. I put up a post. Listen, Facebook, it's the ultimate opinion place, right? You can put your opinion on your wall. And of course, by doing so, it basically gives everybody else permission to tell you how wrong you are. Right? Whether you're left-wing, right-wing, progressive, liberal, conservative, whatever it is. This is where I'm going to get in trouble. Everybody's right and everybody else is wrong. And they're going to tell you that. But here's where the wool is getting pulled over our eyes. First of all, don't believe any single politician, even the ones that represent your views. Even the ones that represent your views are not necessarily telling you the truth. There is an agenda in a million ways on either side of the aisle. It doesn't matter. They both have agendas. And depending on which news network you watch, you will be fed that agenda. The wool is getting pulled over our eyes. And we sheep go out there and argue with each other over Everything. Everything. We are no longer allowed to even have an opinion because it's wrong. You can't even have an opinion because everybody else thinks it's wrong. And you know why they think it? Because they're believing the news that they're watching. If you watch, I'm not going to bring up networks, it doesn't matter. You watch two different networks with different philosophies, you can't believe you're even that they're talking about the same subject because it's so far apart. But I will tell you something. I was reading an article. There's an article in a magazine that was, this is how crazy it is. I just want to show you the manipulation part. The article was about an airline that had been dropping a variety of flights and that how it'll affect travel this summer. Now, this is where I don't want to get into politics. I don't, but it's going to sound like I am. The article was about this airline dropping flights, travel patterns, and it's going to affect summer travel. The opening line was, due to the cost of fuel, due to Putin invading Ukraine, this particular airline cannot afford it. Cannot afford the fuel and can't take these lower travel routes. And I thought, your opening line is blaming Putin for what this airline has to do. What is your agenda in blaming Putin for the cost of fuel? Why is that your agenda? Now, that is just one. Oh yeah, so Matt, I can't disagree even a little bit. Even a little bit. The why is it separated? It bothers me. I posted something about Disney. I love Disney. But I happen to disagree with some of the things that they're currently doing. I happen to disagree. All I said was, I'm a little upset because I happen to disagree. Boom! I was attacked. Attacked. I had to delete it because it's not me. I don't engage this way. But I invited it. So what am I trying to say? The wool is getting pulled over our eyes. And whether you and I disagree politically or not, or whether you are into taking pharmaceuticals as opposed to getting healthy naturally, or you like McDonald's and Burger King, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I just want everybody to realize that we are being manipulated on virtually every step we take. Every day, everywhere. I just want you to take a step back and be aware of that. I'm not saying that you have to change your mind. I'm not asking you to believe what I believe. I'm not asking you anything of the sort. But you and I alike are being manipulated by everything, especially TV, especially the internet. Let's go, Islanders. Tony Baloney, have a great pizza. Matt, I think, yes, Stan Lee, Walt Disney, the whole Star Wars enterprise, everything. It's just not what I thought it was. It's just going somewhere else. The agenda is becoming something else that I don't understand. And actually, I'll just throw it out there. I know I'm way over time, but I'll just throw it out there. If Disney wants to have 50% of their lead characters be gay or transgender or whatever they want, if they want 50%, now I'm not even phobic about any of that stuff. I have gay friends and none of that matters to me. But if is society 50% gay and transgender, then it's not necessarily an accurate depiction of America or society. But I digress. And this is where I'm going to get myself in trouble. So I'm going to pull the curtain down. I'm going to end this conversation. Virginia, so me too. When people can talk, this is what's beautiful. When people can talk and actually hear each other, man, it's beautiful. I would never ever say that we even in the end we have to agree, but I have listened to conversations, I have listened within conversations to people that I completely disagree with, but I left with an understanding I did not have before. It did not necessarily change my mind, but I did have an understanding. and vice versa. The person I was talking to, who we are, opposed politically, but it was a great conversation, and we gave each other a hug when we were done. We were having beers. It was guys, but it was fun. Anyway, I'm way over time. I'm glad you guys were all here because it's a pleasant surprise. Facebook has not really been spreading the word for me, but thank you for being here. I'll see you guys next week. Actually, I think, is it next week Good Friday? If it's Good Friday, I won't be here, but I'll see you guys. Thank you all for being here, and I appreciate all of your commentary. Thanks, everybody. Peace.